Greetings fellow Whovians and welcome to Timey Wimey Reviews. We can all agree that Rosa was perhaps the strongest episode in season 11 of Doctor Who. However, another episode that should be considered in this accolade is Demons of the Punjab. Just in case you don't know the story, Yaz has asked the Doctor if she can go back in time to watch her grandmother get married. The Doctor, being a mate with the TARDIS, obliges, and so the fam travel back to India to the year 1947, where they inadvertently arrive at the day before the partition between India and Pakistan. Elsewhere in the nearby village, we have a group of aliens known locally as demons that have arrived on the scene, and now it's up to Team TARDIS to investigate. Demons of the Punjab is a well-written, double-layered story, where not only you have the Doctor fighting monster-style adventure, but you also have these subtle references to that tragic historical moment when, in an instant, many people were displaced, which led to large-scale violence and severe loss of life. With Doctor Who being a family show, it goes without saying that they can't show that high level of violence. However, they do manage to handle this subject matter rather well through radio announcements, discussions, and the characterisation of Prem. His character to me represented the millions of people who lost their lives through this historic decision, which is still suffering the consequences of those actions to this day. The atmosphere this episode creates complements the beautiful location and cinematography. It's one of the brightest and breathtaking productions I've seen in Doctor Who. But how does some of the characters hold up in this episode? Well, it's pretty much a Yaz story. We get to know her family history, pretty much a Doctor Who version of Who Do You Think You Are? But we do see some character development. She's very headstrong. She wants to see things through to the end and not look away or turn away. I feel like those are some of the character traits she has got from the Doctor. Speaking of the Doctor, having rewatched this episode, I did feel more of a connection to Jodie's interpretation. I feel like it's a more humanised version of the Doctor, where we see this sense of wonder and loss. Even though we've seen this loads of times in Doctor Who before, I do feel we are seeing it through a fresh pair of eyes with Jodie's interpretation of this character. I felt Graham had a really good standout moment in this episode when he had that chat with Prem, I think at the night before the wedding. It was really, really nice to see, especially with Graham still grieving at the loss of Grace. It's one of those enjoy your moment whilst it lasts type of scenarios. Let's quickly talk about the Thajarians in this episode. That's really hard to say, the Thajarians. I like them. I know quite a few people were a little bit disappointed with them being like the bad guys, but it turns out that they're not the bad guys. But I liked it. I think it worked well for this episode. It just carries on the layer of don't judge a book by its cover. I would like to see them come back in a future episode of Doctor Who, but maybe in their old ways, being these galactic assassins. I think that would be really cool to see. My main gripe for this story, unfortunately, is Ryan, because sadly he had nothing to do in this episode, or very little to do in this episode, should I say. It's not his fault. It's just one of those cases of overcrowded TARDIS companions. It's something that we've seen before in Doctor Who, and I'm sure we will see again. However, I am going to give Demons of the Punjab a TARDIS rating of 7 out of 10. It is entertaining, but at the same time thought-provoking, and especially towards the end, heartbreaking, especially with that alternative version of the Doctor Who theme on the rolling credits. It's beautiful, yet harrowing at the same time. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of Demons of the Punjab, and also let me know what stories or episodes you would like me to review in the future, whether it be from the classic or modern era of Doctor Who. What I would like to do with these reviews is treat it like a bit of a book club, where I announce what episode of story I'll be watching. Hopefully you can find a copy of that. Then the following week we can meet up and have a discussion in the comments. So if you think that might appeal to anyone, please spread the word. Let's have a good old chinwag. Next time on Timey Wimey Reviews, I will be reviewing the episode Rosa. Will I give that a higher rating than Demons of the Punjab? You're going to have to come back next week to find out. Until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like the video, share the video and subscribe to the channel. And with it being Valentine's weekend, as the good doctor once said, love in all its forms is the most powerful weapon we have, because love is a form of hope. And like hope, love abides in the face of everything.